Hello and welcome back to the Green Workbench. This is phase 2 of my office renovation from a bedroom, converting a downstairs bedroom into my office. You may recall phase 1 where I completed the feature wall where my desk sits. So this is the opposite wall, and we still needed to use this room as a guest room. So this is a Murphy bed, and I thought about showing you the steps of making the Murphy bed and decided against it because I purchased the plans and the kit from Rockler, and so I would just be showing you videos of me following their plans. So if you are interested, Rockler has great hardware. If you're ever looking for hardware you can't find locally, look at Rockler, but they have these kits. I bought the kit and just followed the plans, and I figured that would be that. Wasn't quite so simple. So this edge should not be double walled like this. I followed the plans to the T. I went to put the metal bed frame in and it was short. And so I thought it would be my fault because generally those types of mistakes are me rushing and not paying attention. So I went back to the instructions, I double checked, triple checked, and all of my measurements were spot on. So I went to Rockler tech support and basically said, hey, look, I followed your instructions and it's the wrong size. And credit to them, they came back and said, you're right, we had a misprint in our instructions, and the instructions told you to build the cabinet too big for the frame. So without any question or me having to push it, they refunded my money. So I had the option of starting over, repurchasing all of the wood, which I didn't want to do because it was a pain getting it built and down here in the basement. So my solution was to build this second wall and reinforce it so that it is the right size. So I'll end up doing with something with that later, but it turned out to be a more difficult project than I thought it would be. But otherwise, the bed works great. It's a great kit, and I'm happy with it. And I'm happy with Rockler for their great customer support, and they owned up to their mistake. So that was awesome. So the reason why I'm starting this video now is because I'm going to add cabinets, shelves to each side of the bed. Same width, so 16 inches deep. And I'm going to make them 16 inches out, 16 inches deep, so these shelves are square. But they'll go higher than the cabinet. And that has to do with phase 3, which you will see in the phase 3 video, but also just to kind of maximize storage space. Otherwise, I've got a couple feet above this Murphy bed of dead space. Because we're in the basement and I can't put it together and bring it down the stairs, which I learned the hard way with the bed, and that was my fault. I've cut all the pieces and I'm going to put them together. So here is the outside of the cabinet, and then I've got all of the shelf pieces in bottom. So first thing I'm going to do is attach the bottom piece, and then I'll brad nail things together first to build the structure and then screw them in. So first thing I'm going to do is attach the base. So we've got the base of my wall attached to the base of the Murphy bed. Okay, you can see here I put in it's a 1-inch, basically just support or cleat, lined it up with the bottom of my cabinet here, and then made sure it was level. And so then my bottom shelf will sit on top of that, and everything's glued and nailed in. All right, I have a shelf level with the top of the bed, and then the shelf at the bottom that's off the ground 1 inch. And I'm going to put shelves in between, and I'm not making them adjustable. They're permanent. And then I will show you my plans for the top there. All right, so the top shelf, the sides are 16 inches, the top is 32, so it doubles it. Knickknacks, books, whatever I want to put in there. On the tops, I use screws in from the sides, and then at the bottom there, up from underneath. So make sure that you are in line with the center of your board before you screw up, because you'll screw up. All right, so I'm going to put one more shelf in between there to cut that second one in half, and then that side will be built. All right, so you may have noticed that the bed is not centered on the wall. There's much more space on the left than on the right. So that's to make the bed fit and be able to actually walk around the desk a little bit. It's a small room. But anyway, because that corner is so tight, I constructed a box in advance, and it's going to be floating. So it'll be equal with the height of the other side, but it won't have a bottom. So I got it all pre-constructed, and then I had measured out a 2x4, the length, to use it to prop it up at the proper length so that it'll float. And then I'll screw it into the side. Okay, so here's my floating shelf, and I put a panel, you can see, under it, but it's screwed into that side really well. And then I built another box there, just a simple 4-sided box, and screwed that down as well. So I've got, it will make sense when I do phase 3 of why I didn't go up to the ceiling and why I'm doing it this way. But I'll go back and show you a zoomed out view. Okay, so there it is, and then this bottom left, I cut a panel and put some hinges on it and make it a door, and that will be storage for blankets and pillows for the bed. So we will go and grab some hinges. Alright, so the door is in. I've got a knob, but I put a little cabinet lock on there. Hinges. Maybe I'll line it with cedar. That would be cool. So that's where our pillows and blankets will go, and then the other shelves will hold books and knickknacks and stuff. So now we need to sand and edge all this plywood. Alright, so you can see I got edging. It's the adhesive edging that you iron on to edge most of the plywood edges. Not every one. For example, the little short shelf supports. But it really gives it a finished look. The pain about them is they're a little wider than 3/4. They're more like 7/8, so you have to put them on and then cut them, and that's a major pain. They do have cutting tools specifically for that. I think I may actually get one just to make it a little bit easier. But once those are cut down, do maybe some final sanding, and we'll be ready for some stain and finish. All right, I ordered an edge cutting tool to make it easier, so I'm waiting for that. Got to tape it up so it's ready to finish once I get the edges done. All right, so the next step is to trim the trim. So I got this edge trimmer, and basically anywhere from 1 inch to 1/2 inch, spring loaded. You just squeeze it, run it along, and has the cutters inside it, and it just it will cut it down so it's flush. You can also use a router to do this, or a knife. The only bad thing about this is it doesn't reach the corners, but that's okay. It gets most of it and it works really well. So I'm going to go ahead and get all that done, and then I'm ready to start staining. All right, so I sanded down, before I finished, I got a fine grit sanding block and just ran it over the corners of that edge banding, smoothed it out a little bit. And then with a rag, I wiped on a Minwax polyurethane stain. So it's stain and polyurethane together, and a light walnut, which I think brings out the green of this birch really well, and should hopefully yellow a little bit over time like birch does. I could have gone with a more birch yellow stain, but I wanted something a little teeny bit darker, so that's why I went with the walnut. There's a ton of surface area on this project with all these little cubbies and everything. It took forever, but I just got the outside done today. I'll let that sit, dry, and then I'll have to open the bed and do the inside pieces. Okay, so we finished here. All our cubbies aren't full yet, but the build is finished. I did one coat of the polyurethane stain mix, which should be plenty. So let me walk you through it real quick. Most of the time this is a wall, right? Because it only comes out when we have visitors. So I just have a hook on here, and picture hangs. It's a little low for a picture, but that'll hang here whenever it's not in use, and then easily put it over there to the side, pull down. One person can do it. Kit is very functional. See if you can see. I'm going to put it over here. So when you bring it back up, the kit has the leg, would access the leg or feet for the bed, actually fold up and hold the mattress down. So it's double function, one person operational. I still am going to put an LED light strip back here, so when someone's in there or in the bed, they have a little light, but we ran power over there so they can charge their phones. So that is phase 2 of the bedroom to office transition. Hope you like it. That picture at the top is actually part of phase 3. It's me getting a jump start there, so look forward to that video. And please subscribe, hit the notification button so that you know when it comes out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on the Green Workbench.